Hello and welcome to another episode of Two Guys and a Chainsaw. I'm Todd.
And I'm Craig.
Happy Halloween, Craig.
Happy Halloween.
Yeah, we've been gearing up for it, right? We've had 3 interesting movies before this. And here we are on the big day. Now, we had gone back and forth. I think we're talking about doing finally WNUF Halloween special, which has been on our list forever and looks very intriguing. But it just so happened that I found this movie that has just kind of been released on Vinegar Syndrome. That, you know, Vinegar Syndrome has been putting out a lot of really obscure movies lately and giving them the really great cleanup treatment with extras and all kinds of stuff. And it just became available on Tubi as well. And this looked like the kind of movie that we like to talk about because it is so obscure, kind of forgotten. Reminded me a little bit of Scary Movie. You remember that one?
I don't know.
Put together as a labor of love by some well-meaning people and a whole bunch of people who've never acted before or acted since or directed before, directed since, but it has a lot of heart to it. And at least that's what I took out of this. This is 1991's Hauntedween. Oh my gosh. No, I haven't seen this movie before. Never even heard of it until a couple weeks ago when I cajoled Craig into letting us do this instead of WNUF. How do you feel about it?
Well, I feel like that title is titillating. Hauntedween? Oh boy.
Ooh.
I think I may have seen this movie before.
It has a mind of its own.
Oh,
Watch
boy.
it rise from the... Okay, never mind.
Yeah, no, of course. I had never seen it, nor had I heard of it, and I didn't even look at it or anything about it until like minutes before I watched it. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's definitely, that's fun and exciting that I've never heard of it. It's brand new, but it's kind of rough.
You remember Scary Movie, the one about the kid who was freaking out all about the haunted house, and he goes in, and then it turns out that...
I do not. No, I do not remember that at all.
It was that movie that was just kind of put together. Eddie Munster was in it, an older Eddie Munster.
I believe you. I have no recollection of it.
Oh, my God. Okay. It was like a local haunt. No, I really want you to remember this. It was a local haunted
fine,
house.
I'll look it up.
The kid is standing in line. Everything absolutely freaks him out. He goes through the haunted house. It appears that people are dying and somebody is going around killing them. And this kid, meanwhile, is just like flipping out over everything is scary for him.
Oh, okay. All right. Yes. Yeah. When you were saying kid, I was thinking little kid.
Oh, sorry. Young adult, I guess.
Yeah. I vaguely remember.
When I read the description of this and how it was made, it just reminded me of that. This was something that was shot in Bowling Green, Kentucky. The director, writer, producer, all the same guy, Doug Robertson, never did anything after this or before it, but just wanted to put a movie together. And basically had some rich parents, and his parents' friends were rich. His father was a lawyer, his grandfather was a doctor. And they used his family's network to gather some money together and got his vision realized. And, you know, the budget was low, but there are a ton of people in this. And it's clear that most of them are not professionals, but a lot of them were from the local University of Kentucky, right? Probably theater people, quite a mix. You know, there's a whole documentary about the making of this on YouTube. It's 45 minutes long. It's just basically a whole bunch of behind-the-scenes footage interspersed with, at that time, interviews with the cast. There's nothing modern. It's all in the moment while they're shooting the movie. They pulled people aside to interview them, the cast, the crew, the director, and all that stuff. And it's kind of neat to see all the behind-the-scenes setup and stuff that went on here. It was filmed in 1989, but it wasn't released until 1991. So it just missed all the slasher craze before, you know, Scream came in 96 to revitalize it. So it sadly, I think the delay of the release probably didn't get it what it was hoping for as far as exposure goes. Obviously, though, this is a very amateurish movie, but I found it charming for that.
If you're going to like the movie, it's going to be a so bad it's good kind of thing. Like,
yeah.
You're going to laugh at how bad it is. And I get it. I just, gosh, I don't know. It was fine.
This is like the Halloween movie equivalent of your local haunted house, you know? It's not the big professional haunted house that you'll drive to the big city for and pay a bunch of money that's got, millions of dollars invested in it. This is your local Kiwanis club that took the high school gym and made a haunted house out of it and is charging you $5 to get in. This is like the movie equivalent of that. I just see it as like a local labor of love from some very well-meaning people. It has some interesting things in it, and they're copying a whole bunch of horror movies. Like there's so many references and shots and stuff stolen from other movies in here. And it's just kind of charming to see it happen. Fun to watch, but you're right. I mean, if you're watching this to see like a big professional production that's going to be super scary and be twisty, and that's not what this is. But I thought for Halloween, this is great.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And there are definitely things I like about it. And there's one part in particular that I really enjoyed. And it wasn't all the boobs. I know that was probably your favorite part.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the boobs.
I mean, that's great, whatever, but no, it wasn't that. I see what they were going for, and I think that it was fine. It does feel reductive, but most slashers do. Like,
right.
It follows a very familiar formula, or it's kind of a hodgepodge of many formulas, but that's fine. Most of them are to some extent. It reminded me a lot, a second-rate version of like Funhouse, Tobe Hooper's Funhouse.
Oh, yes, yeah.
It reminded me quite a bit of that. And then, we did that Linda Blair movie, like, I don't remember what it was called, Hell House or something like that, where, a fraternity goes into a haunted house and get murdered. Like, we've seen this kind of thing before. I just don't think that I could get past the amateur nature of it. And I wish that I could have had more fun with it. I don't know. Again, I was stone cold sober when I was watching it, and by myself on my computer. Like, that's just not that's just not the right atmosphere. But there were the actors were so amateur. And again, I don't particularly care because, like you said, this was, just a bunch of people who were doing this for the love of doing it. And I hope that they had a good time. But there's a lead guy, kind of, this, douchey frat guy who's the Kent. Is that his name? Kurt.
Yep.
Kurt is the president of this fraternity. And he's got this girlfriend, Mel. I think.
Mm-hmm.
And they're both awful. Now, she's gorgeous, and he's gorgeous. They're both very
right?
attractive people, but they're terrible actors. And there's one scene where they're meant to be having this serious heart-to-heart about their relationship.
Yes.
And the score is telling us that this is like very serious, and it's about their love, and this is a romance. And they're talking back and forth. And at one point, you can see him have to stop himself from lipping her lines. Like he starts to mouth her next line and has to stop himself.
Yeah.
And then her next line, he jumps and stops and lets her deliver it and then comes right back in. Like,
and that's the take they use.
Yeah, I
know. Do you remember this summer when you had to leave my family's vacation?
Yeah, my dad needed some help on the farm.
I know, and I can understand that. But it's always something.
So what's bothering you?
I guess I'm just jealous of your friends.
That's okay. That's normal. My friends are much cooler than your friends.
I'm serious, Kurt.
Look, I really like what I'm doing here. These guys mean a lot to me. One day we'll have a chance to do something for each other.
I know. But I love you. Even if you do ignore me half the time.
I'll try harder.
I'll try to be more understanding.
Tomorrow we'll go someplace. Just you and me. No fraternity.
That would be nice.
That's the kind of thing I'm talking about. Now, if you're into just if you really like really silly, there's some really silly stuff in here. I know that we should really start with the cold open or whatever.
Yeah, maybe.
But so let's do that.
There's like a 20 years ago title on the screen, and there's this kid standing outside this, it's like a gate into a driveway that leads to a house. There's a big sign at the top that says the Berber House.
Yes. And this is all set against the backdrop of a complete ripoff of Carpenter's Halloween score.
Yes. It's like the score in reverse. It's like instead of going up, the notes go down, but it's kind of the same. And there's some people driving in and giving this kid money, and he puts a mask on sometimes when he's taking money from them, and it's just weirdly silent. And people come by and are like, hey, nice mask, looks real scary. And, the sheriff comes by and is like, hey, how you doing, Eddie? Then drives by when he doesn't talk to him. And then eventually it looks like he just wants to go up to the house, so he flips the sign closed and walks up the drive to the house where people are going inside, and it's called the House of Horrors, and it's just a farmhouse that has been obviously transformed into a haunted house by, again, I would say like the local Lions Club or something like that.
Sure.
And the guy at the front who's scaring everybody before they go in says, Eddie, you're too young to work in here. Maybe next year. And Eddie's like clearly really into this because he starts rehearsing those welcome instructions as he walks around the house, crawls under the crawl space, which becomes vents. Okay. And somehow gets into the house this is not a huge looking house from the outside, but apparently there's a room in there gets overlooked a lot. That's the room he ends up in. And one of the girls kind of gets lost and wanders into that room. And I thought this girl was cute because she looked way too old for how she was acting. She was acting with this like really girly voice and like, oh, I'm so scared. But like she looked like she was 16 at least.
Oh, I didn't notice.
She bumps into Eddie and that freaks her out. And Eddie has led her into this room with a candle. I guess she wants to get out of there. Do you know the way out? And in the room, he kind of locks her in somehow by closing a panel and then just chases her in circles around the room until he runs her into the corner where she gets impaled on a stake. And it's pretty bloody. And I thought, did he mean to do that or was this an accident? But then he pulls a machete out from, I don't know where he was hiding this thing.
I know.
And then cuts her. Now, we don't see him cut her, but we see lots of blood squirting on him.
Yeah.
Lots of blood. And he runs off into the cornfield, and as he trips and falls, a woman's hand appears on his shoulder and goes, Eddie, we need to go away for a while.
Right.
Turns out to be his mother. And now we're 20 years later. Now, I don't know. 20 years ago already looked like the 80s. But apparently 20 years later, it's still the 80s as far as how everyone's dressed and everything.
Yeah, I was surprised. This childhood trauma setup is so common. Like, to the point of cliche, but who cares? I was surprised. Like, when he backed her into the, I don't know, huge spike sticking out of the wall. I thought it was an accident, and I was like, oh, this is going to be tragic. Like he's going to be blamed for this,
right,
and that's what's going to push him over the edge. No, it seems like he was a psycho
right
from the beginning.
And I guess his mother was hanging out nearby and knew what went down in the room. I
guess.
Weird.
I don't know. Well, I didn't realize this until later in the movie, but that was their home. Like, they lived there.
Oh.
They put on the haunted house every year. So then they flee. The mom, I don't know if there was a dad, but we never see a dad. But it's 20 years later, and apparently Eddie and his mom, Eddie, who was a very normal sized young person, is now a huge guy.
Yeah.
It seems like. But they don't show us his face until near the very end of the movie. I'm not really sure why, but whatever. But they live in a cabin in the woods, but she immediately dies of a heart attack, and he finds her and just says, Mama, no!
No.
And it like reverbs in the soundscape. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
And then he throws her in a van and says, it's time to go home, Mama. Like,
yeah,
everything is such an obvious trope. Like, the night he came home, like, it's time to go home, Mama.
I thought there were moments in this movie where the camera work was really impressive for this low budget.
That's fair.
And the editing was kind of good, too. Like, the camera's one of those always moving, real Hollywood-style way of cinematography. It actually does some complex movements through crowds and around corners and stuff. That really elevated the movie above, for example, Scary Movie, which the camera was quite static most of the time in there. And I think in ways that one felt even more amateurish than this one did. But yeah, and the cutting was kind of cool too, where they were, they cut between him chopping the wood and as they were slowly zooming in on her inside the house. And, the fact that they just didn't show his face, which, as you said, oddly enough, didn't matter. I didn't know if at the very end when he finally pulls the mask off just before he bites it, if we were supposed to recognize him or there was supposed to be something significant about his face. No?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. It's just a thing. But yeah, so anyway, time to go home, Mama. And now we're at Top Hill State College. And there is a Pee Wee Herman lookalike.
I know. What was that? That was so weird. Okay, so and you're right. I will give the movie credit for that. There is some good camera work. The cameraman or whoever's operating the camera navigates this camera through the door and then through this frat house. But it's a frat party. Let us tell you it's a frat party by showing you a beer bong and having guys dump their beers, conspicuously on the breasts of the girls that they're talking to who are wearing white t-shirts, and the girls are like, oh, it's so cold. And look at my tits. And then God, I can't even, and then a Pee Wee Herman lookalike for no reason. And is he doing a Pee Wee Herman impression, or are we just to believe that this is Pee Wee Herman's college?
I feel like it was just a guy who was like, hey, I can do a Pee Wee Herman impression. And the director's like, all right, why don't you just go with that?
Yeah, for the whole movie.
It'll be funny.
We'll put you in a couple scenes.
He's just in a few scenes, but I loved it that he got a little bit more action toward the end. That was kind of nice. But yeah, it's just they move from person to person to person, and it's all these little scripted bits of zaniness, before our main guy comes in to get everyone's attention and read a letter from the National.
And the jokes, but even there's jokes, but the jokes are so stupid. They're so bad. Like one of the jokes is he's like, I have this important letter. I found it in so-and-so's shoe. And the guy's like, well, I saw the letter and it was thick and I had a hole in my shoe and I had to patch it. That's a joke. That's not funny. That's just stupid.
I don't know. The laugh track tells me otherwise.
Oh, boy. It's horrible. And so this dum-dum Kurt, this hot dum-dum, gets up in front. And I see what they're going for. They're going for Animal House. But it's just so... The acting is terrible. It's what you would get if you got a bunch of college kids who had never acted.
Yeah.
Got them kind of drunk and said, okay, pretend that you're dancing and laughing and having a good time. It just looks completely... It looks terrible. And so, but he gets up and he's trying to rally the troops or whatever.
Sisters, how are we? The Sigma Phi's have always been in front of the rest. It is a pleasure to be your leader. All right, quit it. This letter is from our national headquarters.
Even though he's not taking it seriously at all, this letter tells them that they're going to lose their charter because they haven't been paying their dues and they owe $3,000 or $4,000 or something. I don't know. But none of them really seem particularly concerned about it.
No, nobody cares. It's like they've been putting this off for as long as they have, and they're just going to keep doing it again. I was like, what's the point of this scene?
And then, he, evangelizes, he takes on, he's mocking, an evangelist looking for money. And I would bet $10 that he was reading off cue cards.
Oh.
I don't think he could memorize that whole thing, and he was looking off camera. I think he was reading that speech off cue cards.
You're probably right. Oh. But his girlfriend, Mel, comes over. That's when we get introduced to her. And their little relationship, they're just paper cutout actors being pushed together. And it's just so silly.
It's dumb.
It's so dumb. She takes him outside and they sit down and their dialogue. Why can't we just do things together? We used to do a lot together before you became president. And he's like, yeah, I don't know. Being president takes a lot of time.
Yeah. And she says, I think I'm just jealous of your friends. And he says, oh, well, that's normal. My friends are way cooler than yours.
And it's so slow. There's a 5-second pause between every line. It's so slow. And then she gets up and walks, to look away and stand against the post. And then he comes over to her. And it's like they're trying to be dramatic, but they just don't have the charisma to pull it off,
And the score is not only generic and annoying, but it's also really loud. Like, I was listening to it in my earbuds, and I could hear what they were saying. I'd be exaggerating if I said I couldn't, but the score was really loud. I was like, tone it down. Oh, man. And then, so, I don't know, they just kind of leave it there. And then he calls a meeting of the Dum Dums, and there's a guy named Hanks and a guy named Listen and a guy named Jack. Now, all three of these guys, like I was trying, how am I going to remember who these guys are?
He was Winston, I think.
Who was Winston?
You said Listen?
No, it's Listen. Listen.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
Look
God.
at the IMDb.
Okay. Oh, wow. Okay.
Okay, so this is set in Kentucky, and some of the actors are just students of the University of Kentucky or a nearby college, and you can tell. And so some of the accents are legit and real. Then you have Hanks.
Yeah.
I don't know what Hanks was doing, but
he could be real.
He was talking in a voice like this the whole time, like that was his real voice. Like,
I don't know. I mean, have you ever been to Kentucky? You would be surprised.
No, it was so affected.
It felt like it was affected, but there were moments where I thought, about halfway through the movie, I thought maybe this is just a real down home Kentucky boy. I don't know.
I think that it was just a gag that he committed to. Like, I'm going to do this the whole movie. This is gonna be my character.
Man, I wrote him a letter and told him we were having a few problems.
Well, Hanks, what did you say in the letter?
To whom it may concern. Man, we're having a few problems. Sincerely, Hanks Treasure.
I found him grating at first, and then as the movie went on, I kind of actually found him charming. I liked him. He turned out to be like my favorite character.
I had the same experience. By the end, I was like, all right, I like this guy.
It's like he got...
Even though he's a total douchebag, but
yeah,
he kind of grew on me.
He did. He grew on you. He's like... He got a chill about him, I think, where suddenly it was like just one of these casually funny guys. And I was like, all right, I can get into this. And his stuff was, halfway funny, I would say. About half the time his jokes were, nothing was like hardy har, but I got a grin or two out of his antics.
I did too. And I guess maybe I should be appreciative that if he was going to go with the gag that he stuck with it, because initially I was like, oh my God, this is so stupid. And then as it went on, I was like, I don't know, he's kind of charming, whatever.
Well, their powwow is interesting, right? Because it's like...
Yeah.
They're talking about how they need to raise money. And they're like, well, we can have a party. We can charge people for it. And he's like, well, I hate to charge people for a party. I'm like, what fraternity is this? What fraternity doesn't charge people for a party? And you just had a party. You could have charged for that. What's going on?
Yes. Here's something that bothers me about this movie in general. They need all this money. And so they've never charged people for a party before, which is ludicrous. But secondly, they go on to throw 2 more big parties. And they charge for one of them like $3 or something.
Yeah.
And for the haunted house, eventually they charge $5 per person. Now, I realize that this is the 80s or 90s or whatever, so that it's different than now. But still, what bothered me was they're charging people either $3 or $5, but then they're providing all the booze. And at one point, this girl is barbecuing like 15 chickens on a barbecue. I'm like, you guys, you are not making any money here. You are losing money on this fundraiser.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, that bothered me, but it's okay.
Maybe they stole all the booze. Who knows?
Maybe.
Well, and then Kurt and Mel are at the lake. They decide they need to get away.
For no reason.
For no reason, they're at the lake, and they are bronzed. They're laying down on...
Oh, my God. He looked like he had been smeared in mud or something. I didn't know what was happening.
And of course, like, she's laying down. She turns over, and she's like, can you put some sunscreen on me? And so he undoes the back of her bra. I saw where this was going. And then he starts smearing the sunscreen on the back. And then a bunch of wild people on the pontoon boat pull up. And apparently this is threatening and upsetting to her, because I guess the idea is like he promised her they would get some alone time like she wanted.
Right.
And these people surprise me. He's like, oh, I swear it wasn't me. But that allows her to spring up so that we can see her boobs, first boobs of the movie. And she covers up real fast. And then the second and third set of boobs comes right in on the pontoon boat.
I know. These girls are just hanging out on the pontoon with their tits out. And that's fine. I don't have any problem with it.
I'm fine with that.
It's just funny. It's funny. These guys, I'll believe that they're cool because they're fun and funny. But these are not like aside from the main guy, it's not like these guys are like beefcakes for the most part. They're
Right.
kind of average, nerdy looking guys, and these girls are just all over them, tits out. I mean, good for you.
Oh, I mean, obviously it's checking boxes. I was surprised that a movie like this had tits, honestly. I mean, they usually, with these low-budget, labor of love kind of movies, they can't necessarily get anybody to do that sort of thing. So I thought, 3 sets here, we get more later. I was impressed. I mean, that was one up over Scary Movie as far as checking the boxes.
They were good boobs, too.
They were. I was impressed with all of them, honestly. If I had to rate them.
For amateur boobs. They were good.
They must have auditioned those boobs. I don't know. And so he's like, Mel, I had no idea these guys were going to be here. And she's so offended. So then he's like, wait, let's just go for a drive on the other side of the lake. And so they're in their, was it a Corvette?
A Corvette.
Oh.
It was like a commercial for Corvette. It's what it looked like.
Oh, there's so many commercials in here. There's also like commercial for RC Cola, I think.
Domino's.
Yeah.
They did a lot of front-facing logos.
Yeah. Subway. It reminded me of the old Subway cups. And then at one point, a girl very obviously back to the camera, tacking up the flyer when they're on the college campus, has the giant RC Cola logo on the back of her shirt. I mean, we'd seen enough RC Cola cans facing the camera, and then it's just, bam, logo on the back of my shirt. It's so obvious. But again, did this low-budget, labor of love movie get corporate sponsorship?
No, surely not. They just didn't care. Like,
you think they
I don't know. I would just think that they weren't thinking about it and weren't experienced enough to know that they could get in trouble for doing that. I think that's what it was. They weren't thinking about it.
Do you think they worked a deal with like the local distributor to like help provide craft services? Like
with RC, that wouldn't surprise me because RC pops up more than once.
Yeah,
a guy who looks like a middle-aged guy at the first party, I think, is wearing an RC like delivery guy jacket. So maybe local distributor there, maybe. I don't know.
I think it's got to be
surely not
something.
Domino's and Subway.
Right.
I don't know. Who knows? Whatever, who cares? Anyway, so they drive to the other side of the lake where apparently the Berber House is, the old Berber House. And he's like, I've never seen this before.
Really?
Are you just driving around on random roads that you've never been on before? Like, you go to college here. It's you hang out at this lake. It's just on the other side. Like,
yeah.
It's like it materialized out of nowhere.
But he knows about it. He's like, oh, it's the old Berber House.
Yeah.
He looks in the window. And then we get the creepiness that you expect. There's a creepy looking dude
killer
peeking
POV
out of the window. Yeah, lots of killer POV.
Yeah, we get glimpses of this guy, and the first time they show him, it's just for a split second, and then just a few, a minute or so later, you get to see him again. It's still quick, but you get a better look at him, and my immediate thought was, I hope that's a mask.
Right.
Because I hope that's not them trying to do creature effects because it looks like a cheap rubber mask. And then I was like, no, it makes sense. It would be a mask because that kid was into masks or, he had that scary mask in the beginning. I honestly think that that's why they don't show us his face. Not because who he is a mystery, but just because he's a masked killer.
Right.
Like we know who Michael Myers is too. We just don't really see his face.
That's true, because there is, as you said earlier, a lot of Halloween reference here with the POV, certain POV shots, especially, and the masked killer and whatnot, and the quietness. He doesn't talk or anything. They walk around, and of course, his first idea is to make it. He's like, "Man, this would make a great haunted house." So I thought he was going to go back and propose to his fraternity brothers that they make it into a haunted house, and that doesn't happen at all. By the way, here, I thought there were some great camera moves, and I liked the little fake-out moment where she walks in front of a window, and the dude is actually, his face is right there. She just doesn't see it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a bit of a cue, and it gave me a bit of a jolt. And then she turns around and walks by, and of course, he's not there anymore. And there's this bit where she cuts herself on a screen door, and so he's like, we need to get you to a doctor. really? And she walks away, and the blood drips down, and the screen door opens, and the camera kind of pans down, and these hands come down and like pick up the blood on the fingers. And I don't know, this was clever camera work. I was really surprised. And now their fundraising party with which must have been a local garage band playing called The Side. And I'll bet they provided all of the music with words in this movie. And there are a few. Kids are dancing. Hank's...
And they were fine.
Yeah, they were. And the music was fine, too. I don't know. You said the score was annoying. I actually thought it was okay.
In parts, like in that romantic part, it wasn't all the time. But yeah, I liked this band, too. But the dancing, and we've talked about this a million times, it must be so hard to film dancing because it always looks bad.
Yeah.
Like, it looks bad and stupid here.
It does.
Oh, boy. And again, tons of gags. And really inconsequential things, like Mel has a heart-to-heart with a friend who tells her, you've got to dump Kurt, and he'll come running back if you dump him, and guys are turd heads.
I heard tard heads. Oh, I guess it was turd heads.
Oh, well, that either one could be.
Yeah.
They're both dumb. So, and then a creep van pulls up to the house. We know it's the killer's creep van.
Aren't there also interesting moments in this movie where you can tell they weren't taking themselves very seriously?
Oh, yeah, no. There were parts where it got very jokey. Are you the underage girls, for example?
Oh, yeah. That bit with Hank and the underage girls? Yeah. And also when Mel is talking with her friend Sally, and she's like, what's the story with Hank? I mean, you got to tell me. We've been friends for what, 7 weeks?
just casually throwing out, oh, Hank and the underage girls? Yeah, that was funny. I feel like I should explain that.
Yeah, do it. Yeah.
Hanks is the doorman. He's letting people in and taking the money or whatever. And these girls show up, and I have no idea how old these girls actually were, but they shoot from their perspective really low up at Hanks as to make them look really short.
Yeah.
And then when they're shooting over Hanks's shoulder, they're shooting from up high, so they look really small. And he's like, hey, girls, are you 18? And they crouch down right in front of him, and I feel like it may even be shot from between his legs. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But they have this like out loud conference, and it's all very fast. They're talking over each other like, oh my God, he's never going to believe us. We're not going to get it. And then they pop up, yes. And he's like, okay, come on in. Like, that's clearly a gag. Like, that could never happen in real life. So it's clearly a gag. And I get it. I see those attempts at humor. I actually thought that was kind of amusing. I just didn't think...
yeah, there's a lot of random antics. Yeah.
Yeah. Random, and they're hit or miss, and more often than not miss.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah, I mean, you can tell they're trying, and it's almost just like, it's like watching your kid do a play at elementary school, you know?
Right.
Like, A for effort, we'll give you a clap, you
right,
know?
Right.
I mean, we're like 30 minutes in now, and I mean, some stuff has happened, right? So I'm not going to say we're finally getting some action. There has been a little action, but just not enough of it. And this is where it gets kind of reminiscent of Halloween, because as you said, the truck pulls up and there's a killer POV as he approaches the house. And Hank answers the door, and there is this voiceover that doesn't fit at all. It sounds like almost like the local radio guy giving the voiceover of this monster.
It's shot from behind his head and from his perspective.
$3.
I'm not here to party.
Man, don't close us down. We're just having a little fundraiser.
And I want to help.
Can you write us a check for $3,700?
There's an abandoned house outside of town, near the lake. Make a great haunted house.
Hank responds as he would, like, what are you talking about? We can't go there. It's abandoned. And he's like, well, here I have the key, and you can use the house. And he's like, well, who are you? And this exchange was so weird. And he's like, I'm a Sigma Phi too. And he's like, oh, well, then give me the handshake. And then they're silent for a while, as though we are to believe that below frame they're doing the handshake. And then the weird guy goes, I did it right? And Hank's like, yeah, all right, thanks. Like, what? What is happening?
How did this guy know the handshake? That's what I want to know. He was a kid.
So weird.
And then he ran away, and now he came back as an adult. Did he pledge Sigma Phi at some point?
I don't know.
I don't get
But
it.
I feel like some more stuff happens. The Council of Douchebags goes and checks out the house, and they're like, yeah, this is scary and awesome. My next favorite part was the Elvira home makeover. That part made me happy.
Yes, the musical montage.
Well, yes, to a great song about a haunted house.
Uh-huh.
I really enjoyed that a lot. But seriously, I knew as soon as I saw them pulling up with like paint cans and stuff, I'm like, oh my God, they're going to do an Elvira Mistress of the Dark house makeover.
It was so good, too, because Hanks is sitting there, goes, nails? And some person, like, holds up some nails. Nails, we got a box of nails. Paint? And one girl's got a thing of paint. She's like, paint. And most important, beer. And then this random muscle dude without a shirt on lifts a keg over his shoulder. I was like, where did this guy come from? He's certainly not part of the fraternity, is he? And then
this is like a competitive weightlifter is what he looks like.
Right? And then Hanks goes, what more could a guy ask for? And then the voice goes, permission. Sometimes I really liked the writing here.
And this shot was good too, because I feel like the camera speeds through the crowd. I don't remember if the part crowded or excuse me, the crowd parted.
It's like it zooms in, yeah.
And to reveal that the sheriff is back there. That was actually fairly impressive.
It was a good moment. I mean, it's classic movie moment. It was good. And the sheriff basically says he's going to keep an eye on the house. And then he doesn't. He leaves and we don't see him until the very, 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 very end. I thought he'd be a factor and he's not at all.
No, and we see him at the very end like he just arrives in his car and then we never see him again.
And that's it. Like, oh, he missed it all. But I love it then. So you're right. They do this musical montage and like they're doing not even that zany of things. But anyway, the muscle guy is up there hammering nails and pounds of beer. Actually, it's kind of a lot of boring stuff happening. But then there's a group shot where they all line up and make a big pose to admire what they've done. But there's no payoff shot. There's no shot of the finished house.
But that was that was Elvira exactly when they all come back, to look at it. But you're right, there is no payoff. But the other thing that bothered me was this was a haunted house, and it's like they were trying to make it look nicer. Like, why are you pulling the boards off the windows? That's scary. Like, you should be putting up more boards.
I think they were just bringing it up to code.
And ultimately later we do see it, at not too far a distance, and it looks nice. Like it looks like a big, nice house, kind of. I don't know. But we're finally getting to the good stuff. Like they have a campfire and it's stupid, and a guy playing guitar who clearly does not know how to play a guitar at all. Like he just strums it.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's a joke or they just didn't have anybody who played guitar, but they sing Freebird and blah, blah, blah. We see that Mel has moved on to a new guy to make her boyfriend jealous. And somebody says, let's tell ghost stories. And the sheriff's daughter tells them, 20 years ago in this very house, a girl was murdered, blah, blah, blah. And my dad, the sheriff, thinks it was the boy, and maybe he's still out there. Dun dun dun.
Yeah.
And then a horny couple's like, let's go to the lake.
Yeah.
And I was like, finally.
Yeah, you missed the great dialogue though when the dude playing the guitar goes,
well, I don't believe any of it. I mean, I think the girl cut her own head off.
Right.
And now she's trying to pin the rap on the little boy.
Nobody would cut their own head off.
Well, speaking of head, let's go swimming.
which gets her hot, and that's when they decide to go to the lake. Yeah. And she strips down, and he says what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Joanne, this is my favorite part of every movie. Guitar playing dude, you got my number. You know exactly where we are. And of course, dude with the mask. It's very Friday the 13th here.
Yes, very.
That whole campfire scene was very Friday the 13th as well. I mean, it was almost shot for shot. Mm-hmm. And yeah, he just like Friday the 13th, while she's in the background stripping down, unbeknownst to her as she's walking away into the lake, he grabs this dude by the throat, pulls him up the tree, and stabs him in the neck. And I was kind of impressed with this.
It looked pretty good. It looked as good as any Friday the 13th movie.
It really did.
The early ones, at least.
Do you know that one of the guys who did special effects and stuff on this and the makeup things, name is Dave Snyder. He went on and moved to Hollywood shortly after this and worked on a ton of things, a ton of stuff we know, like Species 2, Hellraiser Bloodline, and The Prophecy, Kiss the Girls, Dawn of the Dead, the remake with Zack Snyder, Pirates of the Caribbean. Crazy, right?
Yeah, this looks pretty good. I was impressed. And a lot of the effects from this point forward, when we finally get to the action, honestly, if I had only started watching it here, if I had started watching it at the home renovation scene and watched it just from there to the end, I think I would have liked it a lot better. I think that first part...
Oh, yeah.
I think the whole first part felt boring and I don't care, and these actors are bad
and slow.
Once it gets to the action, I actually kind of enjoy it.
We're like 50 minutes in here.
Yeah.
We're 2/3 of the way movie by now.
Right. The girl, is waiting in the lake and the killer comes up behind her and breaks her neck.
Well, I mean, she stripped down to everything but her underwear.
Her panties, right.
That bothered me. Like, if you're going to strip down to go in the lake, why do you leave your panties on?
Right. Now you're going to have wet panties. That can't be comfortable.
Right. Yes, that's the worst.
I guess you could just go commando. That would be fine. But anyway, then, okay, so he breaks her neck and didn't leave her in the lake, carries her away. And I thought, I don't know if I want to know what's going on there. But ultimately, I like what's going on there. Because at this point, then there's a montage of, while everybody else is gone, the night before the haunted house, the killer messes with their setup and sets up a room of his own and, uses big red paint to paint the kill room or something like that on the outside of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then we cut to the night, the night of the haunted house, and there's a huge line. Now, I kind of expected that this would just be a fraternity sorority thing, but it's not at all. In fact, the whole community comes. I don't remember if I said this already or not, but maybe I did, but it was just so striking to me. At some point near the end, when things go crazy and everybody's fleeing, a man runs out with a baby. Somebody took a baby.
Are you serious?
Yes! You didn't see that?
Notice that.
At the end, when everything goes nuts and people are running out of the house, an adult man runs out with an infant. A human, not a doll.
That's so funny.
A human infant in his hands. Why do you have a baby at this?
Well, before it gets to the haunted house, you gotta mention our little love triangle issue happening here, because Kurt ends up confronting Bentley while he's watching Press Your Luck on TV. Bentley was the guy that Mel was hanging out with to try to get Kurt jealous. Kurt asks him to back off, and I love Bentley's response. He goes, you know what? You're right. I wasn't going to do anything. But now I think I'll bone her.
He's like, I think I'll bone her. I wrote that down too. It was pretty funny. The delivery was the best part of it. It was great.
It was the best. It was the best. But cut to the haunted house.
Right. And the killer is just waiting inside, and we see what they've done. And they've actually set up a decent haunted house.
Yeah. It looks pretty good.
The first room that you walk into is the wall of hands, and a voice says, stand against the wall, and they do. And the guys, reach their hands out and grab people, and of course take advantage and feel girls up and stuff. But then there's a Dr. Slasher room, and I don't remember all that's going on in there, but I remember he has a flamethrower, and I was like, your insurance provider is not going to approve that.
This also reminds me of how sometimes these local haunted houses were. Instead of just a thing that you walk through and walk past, there would be, you stop, there's a scene that plays out in front of you. Mm-hmm. You move to the next room, there's another scene. And God, I don't know if that's really done anymore. Maybe again, the local ones do it, but I haven't been in a haunted house in ages that's set up like that. But I remember them. Mm-hmm. Very specifically, so
kind of cool. I mean, it's not at all a bad. And the fraternity guys and their girlfriends, I guess, are the actors, and they're doing fine. I mean, it's silly, but it's what you would expect of a amateur haunted house. Yeah. And in the Dr. Slasher one, there's a nurse, and she has to go pee, so she goes outside, and we watch her pee. That was weird. That felt fetishy.
Yeah. Why did she squat behind a bench to pee? Don't they have a bathroom out there somewhere?
I know, it's in. Well, I guess it's an abandoned house. I don't know, whatever. Then the killer knocks her out and drags her in through the vents. I'm not sure what was going on here. And then I'm sure it's pronounced Liston, because that sounds more like a name,
right.
But it's spelled listen. He is at the keg, and he gets knocked out and dragged inside. And then it doesn't matter, but Bentley invites Mel to his van. He says, I'll be waiting for you, whatever. And then this now gets to the part of this movie that I legitimately like. The killer has set up his own room in this haunted house. He's decorated it. We don't find this out immediately.
Very well.
Yeah, he's decorated it very well, in part with the bodies, like his mother's body, the bodies of the people that he's killed so far. But the people that he's just disabled or knocked out, he's got set up in like different kind of torture traps.
Mm-hmm.
And when the crowd comes in, they think it's just part of the show, and he puts on a show. I loved this part.
Yeah.
I loved this part.
This was awesome. And we've talked about this before. We did a movie, too, called Haunt, I think, where this was the same concept. But we've talked about this before, how if you're going to kill somebody, do it at Halloween, because you can get away with it probably right in front of people's faces.
Right.
And it's awesome. The girl is tied up to a chair, right? And she comes to, and he takes the thing off her mouth, and she's like, oh, it's real. It's not an act. It's real. And the crowd's going, yeah, wow, this is so awesome. And then he comes up behind her with a chainsaw. God, I thought he was going to cut off her head. He just kind of like hacks her neck for a minute, and then
that was weird.
It flops backward. That was weird. Actually, that was really poorly done, to be honest. There was like some weird shot from the back of the chainsaw approaching what was obviously a tiny, skinny little mannequin neck, and then suddenly there's a shot from the side, and her head's just back, and there's blood there. I don't know.
It wasn't great, but then Liston wakes up, and again, he's pleading with the crowd, and the crowd's like, and the killer, who is masked still, grabs a baseball bat, and the crowd's like, knock his head off! And like, it's a whole thing, like the crowd is so into it, and they're like, man, this is really good. They're good actors. And I just loved the setup of it, and he messes around and pretends to miss a couple times, but then he knocks Liston's head off, and it's clearly a dummy head, and I love it. I love that 80s practical effects shit, and it was fun. I thought it was fantastic.
This is so Halloween, you know? This is the whole reason
Then Bentley's waiting in his van for Mel, and Pee Wee Herman shows up again and scares him.
Apropos of nothing. Oh my God, that's so funny. He was like half good as Pee Wee Herman. It was like if he had just been a little more.
He wasn't bad.
No, he wasn't, but like he just missing that last like 5%.
Yeah, I mean, if I met him at a Halloween party, I'd be like, that's pretty good, bro. Like,
oh yeah, you'd be impressed. Yeah.
But then Bentley gets dragged away with a noose, and Kurt and Mel have another heart-to-heart and like make up, and then as though the killer had to have been crouched down just below camera.
Oh, I love this.
And they're having this heart-to-heart, and it's, a shot, they're both in profile talking to each other, and the killer just pops into frame and knocks their heads together.
Yes! I laughed out loud at that. Oh my God, that was funny. Because also, it was funny because of the dialogue that was happening before. It was the worst, cheesiest dialogue. I mean, we haven't had any real chemistry between these two. Everything has just been very paint by numbers as far as their little scenes and their relationship tension. It's all been very dumb. And now, suddenly, he runs to her and he's like, Mel, I figured some stuff out. I love you. She's like, I do too. Oh, do you really mean it? And then, boom, knock their heads together. Oh, God, it was so funny.
Yeah, the dialogue was terrible. He's like, sometimes you just don't know what you have until you lost it. And she's like, you never lost me. You always had me. You just didn't know it. Bang. and then they get dragged in too.
Of course you always had her. What? It's been like, 24 hours? That
Max, you guys... Right. All right, so they get dragged inside too, and then there's a new crowd in the kill room, and he's got it set up, and he's in a different mask now. He's in a werewolf mask.
Yeah.
And Mel is just duct taped to a wall, and...
That was great.
The killer takes a scalpel and slices her abdomen. Okay, fine, recoverable. But then he slices all the way, beginning at the base of her hand, all the way down her arm, with a scalpel, and the blood starts coming out. We are to believe later that she is fine, and that is ridiculous. She would be dead.
Yes, she would have bled out of all of this by now. I thought it was clever, though, how they had her duct taped to the wall. What a great way to do the special effects.
Yeah. That was smart.
Super smart. And it was cool. And Kurt's at the electric chair, and he's like, no, you son of a bitch! And the killer zaps Kurt a couple times, but doesn't kill him. And Bentley, I thought Bentley got hung. He's got there, Bentley kicks the thing out from under him, and he swings until he's not swinging anymore. But Hank, I guess these were just sort of fake out moments, right? She should be dead. He should be hung.
Oh, yeah. He's been hanging there for a while. He would for sure be dead.
Yeah. Hank comes in because he just wanted to check out the haunted house. He got bored running the gate to see it for what it is. And he ends up in the room and he goes, "This isn't part of the house. Everybody run." He picks up a blowtorch. He blowtorches the chicken wire.
It's not a blowtorch. It's a flamethrower.
Flamethrower, sorry.
Where did they get a flamethrower?
Well, we did see it earlier in the doctor
we saw it.
scene.
But where did they get it?
I know. Okay. I know. I thought this was a joke because he uses this on everything. He uses the flamethrower on the chicken wire, which somehow cuts a vertical slit in the chicken wire so he can get in. And then he torches the rope in order to set Hank free.
Bentley, yeah.
A Bentley free, sorry. Torches the rope. And then he just basically frees everyone, tears her off the wall, and she's supposedly fine. Basically, everyone in here is actually fine. I was disappointed in that. And then the killer pops his head up through the vent he's been dragging. By the way, I don't know how he stuffed those bodies down the vent and dragged them in there, but he pops his head up, and Hank torches down the hole and thinks he's gotten him. And then Hank stumbles out of the room that he's been in all of 5 minutes, like he's super tired, and collapses.
And like cover like as though he's been in a burning building, which he's not. Like, but he's covered in like smoke.
Soot.
Yeah, I don't get it. And nothing happens to him. He was fine.
No.
So
yeah, he spent 5 minutes freeing these people, and now he's soot covered and exhausted. The killer comes out of the crawl space to very exciting music and stumbles around into some barn or shed. And in the meantime, this is when all the people are running out, right? They're all panicking. Bella's laying in Curtis's lap on the porch, and Curtis is cradling her, got her arm straight out with the wound still completely open, going, "You're going to be fine, Mel. I love you, Curtis." I know.
I'm sorry. I just talked over it. But that was so funny to me when she said, "I love you, Kurt." I know. So funny. Oh, my God.
Finally, the sheriff shows up just for the killer to burst out of the bar with the van and drive off past him. The killer does stop to puncture the sheriff's car tire, though, and Kurt runs after the van. And they do their best to make this look exciting. And actually, I was, again, for a low-budget movie, they didn't do too bad with this van stuff. It bursts out and it knocks over that big sign that we've been seeing by the road, and it starts driving down the road. The guy finally takes off his mask, and he's severely burned on one side, but otherwise he looks fairly normal.
He's a handsome guy.
Yeah, I was expecting to see something revealing. I mean, they made a big deal out of it, but it's just...
The burn makeup looks really good. I mean, in hindsight and in talking about it, for a relatively amateur production, I think I was just so thrown by the amateur acting that I didn't appreciate other elements of it. But that burn makeup looked really good. And you're right. The action effects here, all of the stunt driving, taking out that sign, it's impressive for what it is, really.
Yeah.
But this next part is dumb.
Oh, it's so crazy. The van is way down the road.
Yeah.
And Kurt is standing there with a shotgun, and he shoots it from, God, what is it, like 100 yards?
At least.
And boom, it explodes. Again, I thought, is this a joke? Are we are we supposed to laugh at this? And the whole van bursts into flames and drives off the road where it stops for a minute. But then it starts up again.
Yeah, mind you, it explodes. It is engulfed in flame and remains engulfed in flame.
Yeah.
And you can see the flames all through it. It is just the frame of this van left.
Yes.
And like you said, it stops for a second and then it starts back up and drives away. That makes absolutely no sense.
It's so bizarre. Actually, I skimmed through the thing on YouTube, the behind-the-scenes stuff, and apparently those guys did, in fact, just rig this van, obviously to explode, and they just strapped down the steering wheel so that it would go slightly right, so it would go off the road. And they were just standing there going like, well, we don't really know where it's going to go. We're just hoping for the best. It's going to go off the road. I'm like, you're going to let this flaming van just go off the road into the woods?
Forest, yeah.
Which is what they do. And that's the last shot of the movie.
The explosion looks good, but the suggestion that guy is still alive in there and driving away is ludicrous. Ludicrous.
Yeah, it's pretty
I mean, I
ridiculous.
guess, they're opening it up for a sequel potentially, but ludicrous.
Sure.
And then it just cuts to the end. It ends very abruptly. Kurt standing in the middle of the road, 100 and some yards away, shoots the thing, it blows up, rolls in. The end, credits.
Yep. Fade to black, credits. And then after the credits, at the very end, coming soon, Hauntedween 2.
Oh, I didn't see that. I didn't stick around.
Oh, man. Yeah, there's a whole Hauntedween theme song over the credits. It's probably by that same band. And yeah, I don't think they ever got Hauntedween 2 out. But yeah, I mean, I found it entertaining. But you're right. I mean, it's entertaining because it's one of those so bad it's good movies. But it's got actually some really good elements in it.
Yeah, this happens to me fairly regularly. I don't like the movie. I'm not excited about talking about it. And then sitting and talking about it and thinking about it, it had some good stuff going on.
Yeah.
It's not a good movie. It's a bad movie, but...
It also doesn't take itself seriously.
It doesn't. It doesn't take itself seriously. I think maybe that's part of the problem that I had with it. I didn't feel like it was balanced. There are the parts of it that are so ludicrous and, remind me, maybe not to the extent of Student Bodies, but like it seems kind of like they're going for that kind of humor. But it's kind of few and far between. I think that the stuff between Kurt and Mel, like the romantic or relationship drama, I think that was meant to be funny.
Yeah.
I just don't think it read.
No.
I just don't think it read right for me. Like, I didn't feel the intention, I guess, which is asking a lot of a low-budget movie like this, so I shouldn't be so critical. And it is Halloween-y, and if you haven't seen it, it's, it's all right. There are things to appreciate about it. You could skip the first, 45 minutes, half hour, 45 minutes? Because the last half hour, 40 minutes are fun. Yeah,
you're right. It's honestly, sadly, you can skip the first 50 minutes, It's like you basically need to skip the first 2/3 of the movie to get to the really good stuff. But I don't know, maybe I'm just a little biased in that I could have seen myself making a movie like this in college, putting some friends together and doing it. And so I always find this charming, just an attempt at doing this and the massive amount of effort and money that it takes to put it together. If you come up with something that's even halfway decent, good for you.
Yeah.
And if it's entertaining enough, like that's what a movie's supposed to do. It doesn't have to be polished to be entertaining. And by the end of this, I had a smile on my face. And it was a movie, especially when you watch it around Halloween, I think it hits different than if you were to watch it, say, in the middle of the summer or something like that, because it's just got that vibe. Yeah, I was glad we watched it, and I really enjoyed it for what it was.
I'm not mad about it.
Good, because when we started out, I thought you were going to be a bit mad about it. So.
No, I'm not mad about it.
All right. Well, the director didn't run off to do anything else. Like I said, just the makeup artist went on to do a million things and seems to be quite successful in Hollywood, major big budget productions. And then the gal who played Mel, Blade Pickett, this was like her screen debut, and she was since in like 27 other movies, mostly looks like kind of softcore erotica from the mid-90s and up. Stuff like Hot Lust and Confessions of a Lap Dancer, Butterscotch, How Sweet It Is, and The Exotic House of Wax. If you didn't see enough of her, seems like you can see a lot more of her in more ways than one by checking out her work from 1991 to 1998. Is that the note we're going to end on? Is me talking about?
I guess, you old lech.
Fair enough. All right. Well, no, you know what? She was also doing stunts in Ace Ventura: Pet Detective in '94. So.
She was very beautiful. She reminded me of, I think that Patricia Arquette is gorgeous and sexy, but like a more stereotypically sexy Patricia Arquette.
Yes, exactly. Well, thank you guys so much for listening. Happy Halloween to you.
Happy Halloween.
Yay. We love bringing you our show and our movies during this season. If you enjoyed it, please share this with a friend and write us a review online wherever you write your reviews. Go to our website, chainsawhorror.com. Leave us a message. Let us know what you did for Halloween. Just send some good wishes our way, and we will definitely share them on air. If you click that Talk to Us link on our website, you can just record a 90-second message that we'll play. And we're heading into November, and it's pretty soon into December, where we're going to have some Christmas movies coming up. So get your requests in now for any of the Christmas horror movies you think we should cover during that month. Until next time, I am Todd.
And I'm Craig.
With two guys and a chainsaw.